First, I just need to ask you if you'd be happy for this to be shared on the website.
Yes.
Okay. And are you happy for this to be used as data, so your
Yes.
response? Yeah? Are you a student, teacher or lecturer, and from which country?
I'm a lecturer in music, so it's a bit different than the others, and I'm from Denmark.
And thinking about the overall DLab project, can you describe what you've gained?
Yeah, I have sort of got a more critical view at this project. I think I have mainly gained some ideas about how to communicate and how difficult it is when you sort of got 4 countries working together and you've got all these platforms where you sort of have to communicate. So I would say that's the main part I got out of it. And then I think I've tried that before, trying to work with arts and science to work together to find I like to have them sort of balanced, and I see all the time that now it's more science and now it's more arts, that they're not it's sort of not combined in a natural way. I think that's a challenge. Mm-hmm.
How do you think your involvement has impacted or will impact on your own practice?
That wouldn't be a lot because I don't do science much. So, but I would definitely maybe look at a more creative way to maybe when I'm doing music, that I would look at more the visual part or in that way.
Have there been any particular challenges?
Yeah, I think the communication is a challenge. Yes, I would say that it's not to be negative, but it's sort of all this about you have to. If you write on Facebook, then people they're not committed to give you an answer. So I think it could be more professional in the way where do we communicate. Yeah, was that answer to the question, or was there more? What was the question?
Any challenges?
Yeah, challenges. Yes, and I think the challenge again is to have arts and science really working together, because I think that in many ways it's just arts being a tool for the science, and I think that's a big problem. So when we were in Belgium in the autumn, I was one of the only representing arts, I think. So when we were sort of looking at a project and they say, right, in this project we are making instruments, and I couldn't see any arts in it. So I think that's a challenge. Mm-hmm.
Have there been any benefits or challenges of teachers, lecturers and students working alongside each other?
Yeah, I think it's nice to cooperate, that lecturers and students can sort of be equal in the learning process. I think that's a very good experience in that way, and it's nice to sort of get an overview of other countries and their school culture and all that. Yeah.
Have there been any benefits or challenges in the planning stages or in the classroom?
Yeah, I think all the time, the planning part, and sort of that we agreed on that the plan should be there, and sometimes it hasn't been there, and yeah, it's been sort of just at the national level, just to meet is a really big challenge, sort of the teachers from the schools, and they have to meet with us here, so we've got all sorts of schedules that needs to go together. That's very difficult. Yeah.
And have there been any benefits or challenges while making the MOOC or within the international days?
Challenges, yes, I think so, but that's more to do with that some of the projects, I think would be nice to have more connection during the day, to have sort of a Skype meeting, and I know some of the other groups have had that. So because I think that's what the students in the classroom, they'd love to do that. They're so eager. Should we Skype to them? Are we going to communicate with them during the day? And that hasn't sort of been part of the plan in our lesson plan. So I think that's a challenge, because I think that's very natural for them, that they would like to communicate and pass on some information. So I think that we could work on that another time to do that more during the project day.
So on the perspective of student teachers, how does the DLab way of working compare with their regular training experience?
I think here at UCN we're very good at sort of having small projects where they go out and they meet students during the semester. So I don't think it's very much different from that. Of course, that we're sort of planning it together. That's different. And what was the other thing I was thinking? Yeah, the international perspective, of course. We haven't got that usually. So that's a new thing, yeah.
And on the school pupils, so the children, were there any benefits or challenges, and how does it compare with the regular lessons?
I think they have project days now and then, but I think the international part, even though this was an international school that focused on the international part, I think it's new for them to have the connection with other schools. But as I said before, they should emphasize it more than they do already. Yeah.
And can you identify which aspects of the D-Lab project have been most useful for you?
That's a difficult question for me, because it's more to do with it's useful to know that being in a big project with different countries and all these platforms, to see how complicated it is. I think that's the main part I've learned from it. Yeah.
And is there anything you do differently? So if you had to redo the project, what would you change?
I think we should be much more strict with deadlines and sort of who's in charge of what. I think it has already been planned, but people are not sort of they don't always do that. So I think that could be much better. The communication as well. I think that you can rely on people. I think and then having less platforms simply that make it much easier and more clear to everybody where it is. We have to look and be committed to that platform.
Okay. And lastly, is there anything you'd like to add about the impact of the project?
No,